on. Stay tuned, everyone. We are tonight's appetizing episode of the Animation Spotlight. And tonight, we are talking about these clowns!
X-Men とは悪の脅威から人類を守り、人類とミュータントの平和的共存を実現するために組織されたミュータントヒーローチームである。
Tonight we have our special guest. We have our usual cartographer of X-Men history. We have Janelle!
Hi. Hi, good evening. I can't talk, fuck.
Looks like she
good evening.
has stage right today, everyone. We're going to move on to the next person. We have the Lady of Valor, Leah, plus size, who I intend to have as my bride.
What in the world? Okay. I don't think so.
I don't think we've met each other before. I am Mojo!
I'm Mojo. I know, but that marriage business, that's not happening. But good evening, everyone.
This is don't be like that. Of course, we still have the sort of legal age attendee, Honda Mati.
Hi.
My goodness, somebody put some sugar in this one. She is very, very on her Paul syndrome moment. We have the next warrior of light, which I call him the loser of light, Final Fantasy 12. Weird name, by the way.
Greetings, YouTube viewers and my fellow Final Fantasy fans. This is Final Fantasy Panel 12, and welcome back to...
That's way too many syllables. We're moving on to the next one. Wait,
oh my god.
Everybody. I think that's it. Who's shooting me? Spider, get me down here!
Okay.
Oh, thank God you got rid of that slug.
Yay!
I'm a fan of the tub of lard.
Oh my goodness. Who the hell done took over Wolf Tammy's show? I swear, y'all need some Shanae to come in here, run security up in here because he getting on my nerves, y'all. Okay. Wolf, I got your show back. You get your ass over here and take over.
Not to worry. Go get what's coming.
Like I said, this is
y'all
make my man. Y'all look. I'm stirring here. I'm losing my train of thought. I thought I had a shoulder rub. This motherfucker done kidnapped. Let me calm down. I'm on monster right now. Let me calm down. This you'll come in a wolf tent. I'm your werewolf. Sorry about that, guys. Will never happen again. It seems that Mojo has intercepted our comlinks. But we will surely put some firewalls on his ass. I guess he got through the introduction, so I don't think anybody needs no more introductions, right?
I think we're good.
Yeah. I think
tonight we're doing season 3 of X-Men 92, and well, I guess since he cordially invited himself, we will catch up on the one episode that we did not talk about in the last stream, barring the first stream. Which the reason why being we didn't have Janelle with us at the time, so we need to have her fangirl about Mojo. And speaking of the episode we're talking about in question, we are talking about Mojo Vision, but we're also talking about another episode that involved Mojo as well, Long Shot. So Janelle, take it away with Mojo Vision. We're going to get that out of the way first before we get into the season.
Okay. As people know, Mojo is one of my most favorite villains in the entire world. Mojo Vision was probably the best translation of Mojo from the comic book to the small screen animated. They captured his personality perfectly, and I guess Matt Frewer was the actual voice of Mojo on Mojo Vision. My favorite thing that Mojo does in that entire episode is when he yanks out his nose hair and tells Longshot that his nose hair has more talent than him. That was a brilliant way to show the character Mojo, because Mojo is out of his goddamn mind.
And
it's because they worship television in his dimension. So
Yeah,
Mojo,
if it weren't obvious by having his eyes literally just pulled open.
well, not only that, they called people the couch potatoes or the spineless ones because they sit and watch and get obese while eating snacks and food and just watch TV. I've always wondered if maybe that was Claremont's way of poking fun at when everybody was like, oh my God, all of our children are going to turn into fat couch potatoes because TV.
Yeah, if I could say, Janelle, I always thought, I was thinking like you. I thought that episode was Claremont making that comment, but I also think he was shooting back at some of the critics of the X-Men show. You know, those prudish parents who thought the cartoon was too violent. So I thought maybe he was shooting back at them that talked about, well, these animated cartoons are getting more violent in the 90s. They're getting more violent each day, every day.
Oh my goodness!
And I kind of thought
censorship.
Yeah, the censorship.
So
I thought that they were personal. I think that they were kind of shooting back at them. So I was kind of thinking like you in some ways. Like I think this episode is trying to get back at the critics.
Them days during the 90s, before you go, Janelle, them days during the 90s was rife with showrunners and show producers, even creators, just shooting back at all people who deign criticize such subject matter that shows choose to perform. Yet there was a lot of content going out there that was way more graphic than the cartoons themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody dared to criticize Baywatch.
Well, think about this too. Then, also at this time frame, parents were bitching about American cartoons, but they weren't paying attention to their kids who were getting bootlegs from Japan of, Genocyber, Angel Cop, Megazone 23. I mean, the late 80s, early 90s was like the most violent era of anime I've ever seen. So I thought that
AD Tank Police.
Oh my God, I love AD Tank Police. Bubblegum Crisis.
Yeah, that.
I thought it was it's AD Police, and it was Dominion Tank Police.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were violent as hell. Yeah, they're bitch. I mean, Ghost in the Shell came out in America like 2 years after X-Men first premiered.
Don't forget parents weren't paying attention. Grenades.
So yeah, I agree that I think that the Mojo Vision episode is definitely a big middle finger to parents that were bitching, because the absolute amount of over-the-top violence in that episode and watching the X-Men die is really funny. Especially when Wolverine's like, Jane! And he's freaking out. And Jane's like, oh no, I figured this out. They're all robots. But also, they had the Punisher in it, which that was icing on the cake.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Punisher was there to kill Wolverine and Jean. So yeah, I mean, the whole Mojo Vision episode is hysterical.
During the stream last week, I did make mention of this. Mojo should have been the villain to Spider-Man and the X-Men Arcade's Revenge, because there was a game called Arcade's Revenge where you played
I remember that game.
you played Spider-Man first, but before you get to the X-Men, and each X-Men had different game modes, which one has Storm swimming rather than flying.
What?
Which, yeah, she was swimming instead of flying.
Okay, cool.
And
cool.
you had to monitor your air supply before you had to go back up for air. And I was like, Mojo would have been perfect for this one, for the answer to why she's swimming rather than flying, because he made it that way.
Well,
It also,
did you guys ever play the X-Men game for Sega Genesis? Because the 5th level is Mojo verse, and the villain is Mojo. And they screwed with you because you made it to the end, you kill Mojo, and the timer is still going before you die, and you're like, oh my god, what do I do? You had to take the controller, unplug it, and put it in the other port, and that would stop the timer. But yeah, the Mojo, that game was so brilliant.
Before Metal Gear, there was X-Men the video game for the Sega Genesis.
Yippers.
I will have to make a confession. I was always scared of Mojo as a kid. Always scared of Mojo. His appearance was so unsettling for me, yet I could never take my eyes away from the screen at all. It was crazy how Mojo had a big impact on me growing up as watching X-Men as a kid.
As a kid,
he never scared me. Oh, sorry, Humble. Go ahead.
No, you're okay. As a kid, I wondered where his legs went.
that dude's so fat that his legs atrophied. That's why he's on the spider platform.
Yeah, so I was about to say, like, yeah, it's probably because his legs are probably buried inside of his fat. Because damn that dude.
He's got Baron Vladimir Harkonnen beat.
Oh yeah. Mojo never scared me, but he was definitely a villain that I would never want to encounter. But hold on, sorry. As I try not to hack in your ears. He was so insane. It was funny. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, no, I'd never want to be caught in your world and put in one of your shows. But oh my God, yes. I would get so excited if it was, an issue of X-Men that had Mojo in it, or, the Mojo. I was so stoked when it was Mojo Vision. My parents freaked out because I was screaming for joy and they thought something bad was happening. I was like, no, it's Mojo. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. Didn't mean to do that.
We never asked Final how he felt about Mojo.
Oh yeah. Every time when I see him, it's just more like disgusting pig.
Final has no secret to how much contempt he has for certain characters.
So you have contempt for Mojo.
Absolutely, that dude is a freaking maniac.
Yeah, he is. I mean, that's honestly the appeal for me for the character.
I'm not saying he's a bad character, but just damn, I have contempt for that guy.
He just loves to hate him. Basically, he just loves to hate him.
Who to me was scarier than Mojo was Spiral.
Oh my goodness, Spiral.
Spiral knew, they both enjoyed it, but she had a psychotic joy about it.
That wasn't made known in Long Shot. The episode Long Shot.
Which is so funny because at the end of the episode for Mojo Vision, it looks like they start dating, which is really funny because that happened in the comic books when she was still Ricochet Rita, a stunt performer who got sucked into the Mojoverse. But she gets captured by Mojo and he turns her into Spiral. There you guys.
Yikes.
There you go. That's how Spiral came to be Spiral.
Oh.
I like her design.
She was originally human.
I like her design. She has multiple arms, save for that one cybernetic arm or that one
Yeah.
arm that's attached via cybernetics as well. So there's a lot of story to her body proportion.
Hmm.
One, there's a missing apparently extra arm, and there's another arm that's basically cybernetically stitched to her body.
Oh yeah, she's creepy as hell. I mean, Mojo is so laughably grotesque, but Spiral just gives me the piss willies. And the way
Oh my
she
goodness.
talks too, when she talks in the weird riddles, because she's supposed to be talking in a spiral.
Oh god. I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Oh, that's how
I
she
did
got her
not know
name?
that.
Yeah, I don't think they originally meant for Spiral to be a human named Ricochet Rita that was sucked into the Mojoverse. I think that those two characters are combined later. Because before the Mojo showed up, remember she was part of Freedom Force. And she was doing the weird dancing and talking weird and freaking everybody out, including her own teammates. Like she
Oh.
was unsettling to Mystique and the Blob and Pyro and everybody else who was on Freedom Force.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe
Now.
maybe for after we do the Captain Britain Part 2 episode, we can do an episode on Spiral on Ishii's channel, because I mean the Spiral and Mojo are heavily involved in the Braddock family anyway. So I'm going to be talking about it.
Cool. Can't wait.
I mean, yeah, seriously, Betsy was Mojo and Spiral's favorite plaything. Rachel and Betsy were the two favorite playthings of Spiral and Mojo.
Yeesh. I liked her idol animation in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Very Shiva like.
Yes. Yes. Like Kali Ma.
Kalima.
Yeah, I would agree. She does look. That's what
I hate
said
fighting
when
her,
I
though.
when I first saw her.
I always hated fighting her though. Bitch block too much.
Well, when you got
That's the
6
computer.
arms, it makes it easy.
I'm just saying, like every time you try to attack her in BC2, she always block every single time. It's like, bitch, can you stop blocking and let me hit you for once?
I'm surprised they didn't make her more of a Cuisinart in that game where she was spinning around with all 6 of her blades. I'm serious. I mean, that would have been a great special move.
We can talk about crossover video games one day. Oh my god, there's a level with Mojo's head on it. Or is that?
There's a what?
No, that's mod. That's somebody's fucking plate. I'm looking at on Being. That's art. So let's get into the meat and nitty gritty of this stream. The meat and potatoes of this season, which is the shall I say the multi-parters.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with Out of the Past, part 1 and 2, which introduces Lady Deathstrike. And mind you guys, Out of the Past part 1, for those who were there at that time, this was the episode that ushered in X-Men being shown during prime time alongside with season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Does anybody remember that?
Wednesday night,
remember
8
that.
o'clock. I remember that.
I was there with my
Yeah, I
mom,
remember. They were in
my
prime
brother.
time.
my mom, my brother, and I believe it was my cousin as well, watching X-Men 92 for the first time at night together with family, because it's usually me and my brother that watched X-Men, and we had our own separate TV.
My dad watched it with me. I was really surprised. I had come home from swim practice. I was a sophomore in high school. And I was so stoked because, like, after swim practice, I was like, holy shit, the X-Men are going to be on prime time. And I think that was their highest viewed episode, because people who didn't usually watch it on Saturdays sat down and watched it and were like, holy shit.
I also recall that they also played
yeah,
Night of the Sentinels that same night as well for
Yes.
2 episodes of X-Men, and we were my mom. I remember my mom being confused as to seeing it, like, where's the rest of it, especially with the first season of Power Rangers. I mean, it's the second season of Power Rangers because these episodes were 2-parters. One being the Thunder Zord episode for Power Rangers, and of course, again, Out of the Past, and its second part continued also in prime time. Surprisingly, we got
Yeah.
a lot of people talking, specifically Buddy Smith. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, Buddy Smith knows his X-Men too.
Nice.
Talking about censorship.
And yeah, Buddy Smith, I must say, I agree. I found Lady Deathstrike more unsettling as well. Actually, I found all the Reavers unsettling. Always.
Yes,
I
those were
remember
the
being
the cybernetic men, the
enhancements.
Yeah.
cyborg. Yes, half
They
machine,
made an
half
appearance in
man.
Logan. They were the main antagonists. I mean, antagonists in Logan, the movie Logan. Though
I
they
know,
were
I'm
not
so
as
pissed.
they were not
Oh,
as
go ahead.
grand as they was in the cartoon, let alone the comic books. I was disappointed. But
I
Boy
was
was actually
disappointed
pretty
in the
entertaining.
Reavers in Logan, especially the portrayal of Donald Pierce not being a aristocratic looking dude, but some like down home boy from Texas, some shit kicker from Texas. What the fuck? I mean,
Stop
he had his attitude
shooting!
down, but
She heals.
also I was pissed that Bonebreaker only lasted like 30 seconds before X-23 decapitated him. I was like, what the hell? And he's not even wearing the treads. He walks
Mhm.
in. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, no treads. I was like, these guys are supposed to be the Reavers. They should look like cybernetic monstrosities.
They should look closely to what the cyborgs look like in Alita Battle Angel.
Yes.
Like
They
Casper Van
weren't supposed
Dien's
to look
character.
human.
Like Casper Van Dien in that movie when he made his appearance in that one flashback. Yes, to let you guys know, Casper Van Dien, aka Rico from Starship Troopers, was in Alita Battle Angel.
He kills what's his name's daughter.
Ito's daughter, yeah. He's the guy
Yeah.
who kills Ito's daughter. That was
I
Casper
don't
Van
think
Dien.
they were supposed to look like the hi Felicia, bye Felicia of murder victims.
This realism shit needs to go away. I'm serious. It needs to fucking go away.
Because those directors do not understand those characters when they say, "Well, they have to be real." Yeah, you're right.
look
They
like
don't
fucking-
understand the
They were
characters. They
basically
don't get it.
Mexican commandos with a southern boy leading them. Way to be progressive, Logan.
The rest of Logan was great. I loved it.
I love it.
My
all the
husband
same.
actually thinks it's one of the greatest superhero movies made because it actually captures the tragedy that is the character Logan. He's not going to have a happy ending. We all know that.
My favorite part on Logan was when his claws came out and he accidentally destroyed a bathroom.
Yes.
That was X-Men Origins.
Oh no, that
Wolverine.
was
Oh,
yeah, that was X-Men Origins Wolverine. That's still some of the funniest shit. Where he's like, "What the hell is going on?"
I
No,
think
my
you're talking
favorite is
about when he was trying to pull out the claws and one of the claws just stalls.
yeah,
because of
he has to
collagen.
pull it out.
But anyways, we're getting off topic. I would say Lady Deathstrike awakened some things in me when I first saw her.
Really now?
Not naughty things, just
Oh,
man. I wish I would get older already.
See, she gave me, even in the comics, she always has given me Uncanny Valley vibes. I'm just like, ugh, your arms are
And,
ugh.
In the fighting game Next Dimension, she has stretchy arm abilities. Strangely enough, there's a game that you probably didn't play or probably never heard of, Janelle. It was called X-Men: the Third Dimension, and it was their third 3D fighting game after the Mutant Academy games, and she was featured in that where she had stretchy arms.
Yuriko.
Okay, yeah, I didn't play that. The last X-Men game I played was X-Men Legends 2.
Yuriko looked a lot better than when her wrists weren't at her knees and she didn't have a helmet on. I'm sorry. It's like the first thing I'd seen about it was like, I went and got, she was like, I went and got blades, and I'm like, dear gosh, woman, how are you going to open a can of pop? How are you going to even chug a beer?
Simple. Cuff her hands.
I will say I know maybe a lot of people who are X-Men fans will think this is sacrilegious. I loved Lady Deathstrike in X-Men 2. I was like, that's a good portrayal. I just
I
didn't like
liked her
that.
too in that one.
She was that fight between her and Wolverine was so good. When her claws pop out and he's like, holy shit. You can see he's like not ready for it.
Mhm.
No, Wolverine should have pulverized her. I'm sorry. I've watched it. I get what you're saying. I've watched it many times, but that should have been Wolverine should have been whipping some tail.
When she stabbed him multiple times in the back, I heard everybody collectively go, ooh.
I'm like,
Especially
come on,
when she grabbed him by the neck and started just like stabbing him when he was on that grate.
Oh
Everybody
god,
like,
that was
"Ooh!"
messed up. You could see the blood dripping down into the water.
Mhm.
I
the way
like the
how
way
he
he
defeated her,
killed
though.
her, though. He filled her so full of adamantium that she drowned because she was too heavy.
Yeah, but she's
I mean,
but the lady I agree with you. I like the way she went out, but I wanted to see more of a fight with Wolverine. Well, I said, come on, Wolverine can do better than
They
that.
made him
Come
a bitch
Come on.
when it comes to fighting women. He was getting his
Yeah,
ass handed to him by
oh
Mystique
my
in
god,
the first
I
movie.
he
hated
got his ass
yeah,
handed
I
to him
hated
by
that.
Mystique in the first
Yeah,
movie.
in the
He
first
should have
one. I hated that.
blocked her
Yes.
ass.
Yeah, the anime.
Yeah, that's exactly what he should have did.
Yeah, the anime didn't treat him any better. There was the X-Men anime, and that one it was the Punk Wolverine series.
We'll get into that one day.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right after we
But-
get to Wolverine the X-Men, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna try my best to tempt Janelle to talk X-Men Evolution with us because she hasn't seen it and for good reason.
I'm just anal. I'm sorry. I'm an anal and I'm a purist. Never go see a superhero movie with me. I am horrible. I am so horrible.
No. We want to see one with you. We want to hear you gripe.
Oh my god. Okay, I thought I finally found the perfect superhero movie when Watchmen came out. And this is before I became like, oh, Alan Moore is actually not a good person. I was like, okay, this movie rocks. This movie is following everything. And then the fucking ending happened. And I yelled out in the theater, that's bullshit. And Steve was like, shut up.
I didn't get anal like that. I didn't get anal like that, or let alone yelled at the screen like that when I went to see Maleficent. When I stood up and looked at everybody who clapped, and I straight up said, "What the fuck are you guys clapping about?" That's how pissed I was at that movie.
You're not the only one.
And that was like the fourth movie date with me and the wife in the early days of our marriage. I straight up stood up and shouted, "What the fuck are y'all clapping about?" And I went home. The car was hot by the time we got home because I was so angry. I was so angry at that movie.
The car was hot.
I was there to watch a good movie of how she turned evil, and I ended up watching a freaking anti-hero movie.
Yeah, I
like,
was
no.
disappointed with that too. Yeah, I was disappointed
But
with that too.
that alien in Out of the Past was stuff of nightmares for me,
Probably
especially with
for
the tentacles.
the soul. Yeah, he gets a grip on. If he gets a good grip on you, he sucks the soul right out of you.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say right now, the animators, I firmly believe this. The animators watched Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5 to get that
Dream
scene
Warriors.
where they're all like, Jubilee, Wolverine, help me. Because if you remember from Nightmare on Elm Street 5, he lifts up his shirt and all the souls of that one, it's either 4 or 5 when he lifts up his shirt and the souls
call
of
it
all
Dream
the
Warriors.
main characters' friends are in his belly screaming.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
remember
like,
Dream Warriors.
was it Dream Warriors?
Yep.
Okay, that was
It
3.
was Dream Warriors.
Okay. So I'm
Warriors is my
telling you,
favorite.
they had to have watched Dream Warriors because that is the same exact creepy shit Freddy Krueger did in that movie is what that parasitic energy alien is doing to the X-Men.
I mean, the scene, there's the scene where he shows them they're fighting, and Wolverine, and he hears Jubilee's voice and then Lady Deathstrike's voice are coming through their souls as this alien creature sucks their souls in, and they're speaking to him from this alien. Yeah, that did. I can see it creeping you out, and that kind of creature creeping you out. Don't let those tentacles get a hold of you, because if it does,
gives a whole new meaning to the term "get in my belly."
Oh God!
Oh well,
The highlight of
perfectly
that
chosen words.
The highlight of that two-parter was Gambit. Gambit willing to help Wolverine out any chance he got, whereas Wolverine is just urging Gambit to just go and get everybody else to help him out because this is a whole team situation. Now, another standout was I already made this apology, or rather this correction in the last stream as well. Gina's not useless in this episode.
Oh no, she's perfect in this episode. I think they were ramping Jean up because the whole third season is all about Jean Grey. So yeah, they got to make her look badass. And yeah, it was a psychic alien. That is the perfect villain for her to fight because now she's on equal footing. And she's not Scott in her orgasm voice.
This is why I have a love-hate relationship with the X-Men. No thanks to you.
But it's true though. I mean,
getting tired. Jean!
God.
I'm here, Jean. Scott. Oh, Scott.
It's okay, Jean. I'm here.
Oh God! Speaking of that, we got a lot of that in the next multi-part, which is the Phoenix Saga. Jesus Christ! When she was going through migraines. Final. How many times you have to plug your ears? Because I know you're a choir boy. You don't need, and I know if you had to close your eyes and had to hear her moaning and groaning, it would wake something.
You said Phoenix Saga.
Yes, Phoenix Saga. Where she was doing all of that before the Phoenix awakening within her.
I was getting worried for her. Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, let me say this before the orgasm voice. I love how you all choose it with that voice. I've always liked Jean. When I think that she had a great moment when that episode. If we're going into that episode, we're not going to go more into the Spirit Drinker episode. If we're done with that, but I liked when they are on the shuttle. And Janelle probably has a better memory than I do. But the shuttle is hurtling into the Earth's atmosphere and hurtling into the water, and they've got to find a way to stop it. And Scott or Cyclops is trying to think of things to do, but she jumps in and says, "No, Scott, I'm the one that can land this. I can put like a psychokinetic shield around the plane, around the shuttle, protecting everyone, and take it into the atmosphere, let it land." And Scott immediately, emphatically. Yeah, she had to emphatically, didn't want her to do it. And then she had to use his own words against him, telling her, "You said yourself, whatever's good for the team." And, she had to knock him out, which I can see where he's coming from, because in his own way, he didn't know what this could probably do to her. So I could see his concern. But I also like the fact that she had to step up. And then she had to knock him out. She had no choice. And then even Logan, because she told Wolverine, "Don't try and stop me."
And Logan's like, "No problem." Yeah. But I love that when she grew a pair and said, "Logan, don't try and stop me." And it was enough for Logan to be like, "Okay."
I wasn't trying.
I wasn't trying. He backed off. That's the difference between her and Scott. Scott, she had to completely knock out because we all know what happens next. And I can see his concern, but I also admire her courage and her ability. And that's why I said I do like some of her abilities. She has to be pretty powerful to do what she had to do, to steer the ship into the atmosphere. And we all know why that was happening. While she's unconscious, the Phoenix enters into her, and then it crashes into the water. And then that's when we get Scott, of course, yelling Jean, Jean, Jean through the whole thing. But up until that moment, I do have to give her very much credit for her taking control like that. Not in a girl bossy way, but she knew her ability. She knew what she could do, but she had to be the voice of reason. I'm sure Cyclops knew she had to be the only one who could do it. But he probably was just, and that's a case of the fear overtaking him. But in reality, he probably knew that she had to do it. But
Still
I'm
in the
glad that
multiverse.
It shows how selfish Cyclops is, though. Think back to the very first episode where he had no problem leaving Morph behind. But oh my goodness, if Jean just gets a cut on her or somebody looks at her wrong, he throws the entire game plan out the window and will put other X-Men in danger to save her.
You make a good point. Yeah, and I think that's why Wolverine.
Wait. Humble has something to say.
Okay.
X-Men TAS, Scott was not my favorite character in that one. He was what was the 90s version of Possessive Simp?
That's Cyclops is the poster child.
Well, the Emperor Simperer, simps after tail. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay, Homer. You're just being honest.
There was a word before simp was even invented. There was a word. There was a word. I think we had lover boy. I think lover boy was the word.
But that's what.
For simp.
But Janelle makes a good. Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Wolf. But Janelle makes a good point. That's why Wolverine really was mad at him for the very reason she just explained. You left Morph behind, like that. But like you said, with Jean, he'll throw himself in front of a shot to make sure that she is safe. And I think at one time, one episode, Storm even confronts him about it.
Well, heck, during that wedding scene, I was rooting for Wolverine.
Oh God, when he was fighting in the danger room, that was great.
Yeah,
he was killing multiple versions of Cyclops. It was great.
Yes.
Of course, we bring up Jean's excessive moaning, but this season also introduced the Xavier shouts or the Xavier screams. You are driving me insane!
Wow. That sounds like a babysitter war cry.
Oh my God, man. Me and my brother will always imitate Xavier's screams because they were so hilarious. Every time the voice actor would make the pain scream. Every time he had to do his psychic abilities and he gets a reverb or somebody counteracts. Yeah! Can't hold him much longer.
Everybody joked about that. Yeah, in his mind, get out of my.
We laughed way more at Charles's screams than Bruce's attempts of holding back his anger. The words he would, the grunt sounds that he would make to hold back his anger always cracked me up in Incredible Hulk anime. You can't do. I must hold it back. No! Hulk smash! Hulk destroy! Agreed!
It's the only series I remember where every supermodel was an action hero. I think there was a fashion show episode. Oh, and they happen to all have college degrees. Back when college degrees actually mattered.
Those were the days. Once again, hate to be a fucking shield. We will be talking about the Incredible Hulk animated series. The one that had the sexy, sensational, selectable, and delectable She-Hulk. Voiced by two ladies, specifically the main one who stayed around, Cree Summer. Jesus Christ, that woman can make a man melt with her voice.
The
Got the
She-Hulk
thing to
done
be
them.
thinking things.
To
The
think
She.
she got her to think she got her start voicing a 12-year-old girl
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the
and
She-Hulk
upgrading.
the right. The She-Hulk the right way, the way she should be portrayed. The one that
Now
didn't mind her bikinis and her bathing suits and being in her bikinis. That She-Hulk.
before Janelle go, we gotta hit some more beats, like
Okay.
say the Shi'ar Empire and Corsair.
Okay. I love everything they did with the Shi'ar Empire, Lilandra, Daken. I don't think there was much of Deathbird though, which was a bummer. I love the fact they brought in the Imperial Guard, and I think one of my favorite scenes, which is actually it's when Gladiator shows up for the first time. They're like, there is something on the radar, and he's moving so fast we can't track it. And you just see from his point of view as he's, flying supersonic towards Muir Island, and they're kind of freaking out. I thought
Freaking
that they
Gladiator.
did the Phoenix Saga part very well. That I think also that the animated series proved that the Phoenix Saga should never be made into a movie because it needs to be in multiple parts. If you want to do the Phoenix Saga as an X-Men film, it needs to be a trilogy.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You can't sum it up in one film. You have to split it up. I absolutely.
Hey.
That's why they fail every time they try to attempt it, because you can't do it in one movie.
No,
they
and it
tried
has
to-
to take place over like an entire year.
If they tried
Yeah.
to do it all in one movie, it would it would be longer than the Avatar movies.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
They would be hitting the pause button and sent to stream because people would have to pause for it for bathroom breaks.
Oh wow. She went there. She went there.
I refuse to watch the Avatar movies on principle alone.
I refuse to watch the Dark Phoenix Saga on rewatch because that was a shit movie.
That
And
hurt my
they
feelings.
did
That
not,
was an
and,
insult.
and they denied us of the Shi'ar. Instead, we went
Yeah.
and got the Baku.
They messed that up so greatly. That third X-Men first with the first. Are you talking about the one with the first class cast?
Mm-hmm.
That was so horrible, and they were hitting it
That
home
was
with the first two films.
That movie was Retcon Central, but we're not
Oh my
going to get
god,
into
it
that.
was.
But
Yeah.
one of my favorite scenes is in that movie, and that's when Jean kills Mystique.
Yep.
I was like,
Favorite
that's
part.
awesome.
Lovely.
And they
I
try
love
to
that.
treat that shit like it was so fucking dramatic
I
and
was
downer.
laughing. I thought it was great.
I
Like,
smiled
finally,
with
Jennifer
glee.
Lawrence is gone.
I smiled with glee when she
Yes.
died. And only because of that fucking line she said to Charles.
You should be
In the
called
beginning.
sex women.
I was like, bitch,
Yeah.
that's why your ass dead. You got punched for that bullshit.
Yeah,
And they,
I have.
you know what's funny? That's the second time they fucked over Quicksilver when he tried to do his speed. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Apocalypse,
that was
Apocalypse, I give a pass, but Dark Phoenix, that was a big no. He got his legs broken twice, I think, in that movie. But other than that, shall we get to the Dark Phoenix now?
Well,
'Cause-
sure. I will say that. Hold on. I just had a brain fart. Excuse me.
I see.
Okay.
Final. I'm
So-
reading your point. Go ahead, Janelle. I was reading Final's point, but go ahead.
So I think the animation, the third season, was the best animation out of all seasons because they got the cash. You can see a difference, but also how they were using extra special effects, like they were using early CGI to ramp up some of the special effects to give you that actual like universal feel of the Phoenix.
Mhm.
You know, it
Mhm.
didn't just feel, like a normal hand painted, cell of animation. There was like stuff in the background.
Yeah.
That jumping forward to the Dark Phoenix part, when she takes Mastermind into her mind and says, "You want to see the real me?" Where she makes him comatose or catatonic, and she has the fire like actually they put her silhouette over fire. Yeah, superimposed her over fire. And then they showed what her mind looked like with that really creepy ethereal music. I mean, holy shit. That was insane.
I got a kick out of them not using Hellfire for their name.
I thought they were the Hellfires. No, they were the Inner Circle. That's right.
Yeah,
They were the Inner Circle, but there was a brief moment where Sebastian called himself the Circle Club.
I forgot about that.
I caught that and immediately laughed.
You know why they did that? I can tell you why. Because they were already in trouble for being quote unquote too violent. If you said Hellfire Club, oh, this show worships Satan. Because we were still in the midst of the satanic panic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the satanic panic didn't just go from the 70s to the 80s. It went from the 70s all the way into the 90s.
And the censors really came down hard on the X-Men. They were
my mom had barred us from watching
really
a certain show or a certain movie because of Satan.
You can't say Hellfire Club, but you can totally show Rogue's caked up ass when she gets knocked down by Apocalypse.
Worse.
What's wrong with this picture?
No, I'll do you one better. You get the White Queen and the Black Queen to dress the way they do in the comics, and that's okay. Which are basically glorified corsets and basically a bikini bottom.
The reason why they could get away with showing Rogue's cake is because they had it conveniently covering up the bits that you usually show in a spicy erotica film.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
that's how a lot of the anime stuff actually got under the censors in the 90s. I found that out the hard way because I used to watch the TV when everyone else was asleep at the crack of dawn. And the one time I suddenly felt like I needed an adult was when they showed the Cat Girls and Dominion Tank Police doing their striptease dance.
Puma Sisters.
I love that scene.
And
the Puma Sisters.
It was like, oh my gosh, there's like this secret war going on. There's people trying to insert cuss words because they can.
In the case of Rogue, she was in the middle of getting back up. So, I mean, they had to show how tall Apocalypse is.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just saying, you get a nice juicy shot of a Southern Belle's ass, but you can't say Hellfire Club.
It's kind of funny, actually.
The outfits, Janelle is not wrong, and Wolf, the outfits in the comics based on the Hellfire Club that Emma Frost and Jean Grey as the Phoenix wear are much sexier. But especially Jean Grey's outfit, again, fun fact, that design was based on, I've mentioned this before, the 60s TV show The Avengers. Diana Rigg, in an episode called, I think it was called A Case of Fire and Brimstone, she actually infiltrated the Hellfire Club, which is where the writer of the X-Men got the idea for the Hellfire Club from that episode. Diana Rigg, I meant to send the picture to you, Will, because I knew I was going to be talking about this, but I'll have to show it to you later of the outfit Diana Rigg. For those of you who don't know Diana Rigg, you may know her from Game of Thrones, but she also was on the Avengers, a very popular British TV show.
She was the gorgeous Emma Peel. Holy
Peel.
crap.
Yes.
Yeah, she was my favorite character on the Avengers. And Ishi and I actually talked about that episode of the Avengers when we were talking about the Hellfire Club. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what episode I'm talking about then?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you know Ishi told me that Diana Rigg was the one that chose the look.
She did. She designed the outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how you got Jean Grey.
Hey guys. There's your ammunition for the feminists who dare to try to say that the Avengers sexualized Diana Rigg.
No, you're right. Diana Rigg took it to the producers and said, "I'm wearing this." True story. She said, she designed it.
So here's what you fire back. How could it be sexualization if the women designed it? Answer that.
But that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Oh,
It's
They'll
still
Sarah.
say
patriarchy.
they'll say it was always this way.
She had internalized sexism in her then.
Yeah, somebody must have forced her to do it or talked it into her. Yeah,
I'll
they'll
top
probably
it real
do that.
quick. I just made a realization.
Hmm?
The bad guys, that cartoon movie with the anthropomorphic animals, by the way, the bad guys is actually an anthropomorphized version of American Lupin the Third.
Yep.
From what?
Holy shit!
What movie is this?
The bad guys.
Oh, I haven't watched that.
Oh, you need to check it out. You might spot a connection.
Okay.
They literally have a Fujiko Menine
A
in that
Fujiko
movie.
Mine?
I call her Menine
Minute.
because my tongue slipping every time I say her last name.
Okay.
But yeah, they have a Fujiko in their movie. But bad girl, we gotta get Janelle off the air now.
Well, no, I mean, if you want, I'll wait till 10 o'clock and then I'll bail. So whatever you need me to say about the Dark Phoenix saga. Okay, so going back to the Phoenix saga, some of the best the best animation period. With the Phoenix saga and showing what the M'Kraan crystal was going to do to the universe, seeing the first epic battle between the Shi'ar Guard, the Imperial Guard, and the X-Men, joined by the Starjammers, was great. I am glad that they showed that, Corsair was Scott's father, but Jean decided not to tell Scott because she wanted him to figure it out on his own, which, that does happen
he does
eventually.
later.
Yes. Watching Jean just the voice actress for Jean at the time frame too. I love the fact throughout the season you had regular Jean's voice and then you had confident Jean's voice where it was now a little bit deeper when she was the Phoenix. And then I am going on a universal genocide because I enjoy being evil Phoenix. I mean, the vocal range that actress has was amazing. You would think it was two different actresses, but it wasn't. And that is listen to the voice clips of regular Jean and then Phoenix Jean and then Dark Phoenix Jean. That is the same woman.
Ooh.
I agree 100% with you. The voiceover work for the actress was amazing. Yeah, I thought maybe it was another actress for Dark Phoenix because the voice is so different. But when I read that the actress did all of those, I thought, wow, she did a great job. Deciphering between Jean Grey and then when the Phoenix Jean Grey and then Dark Phoenix Jean Grey, that she really showed her range there with that character.
Yeah,
because she really had that voice.
X-Men, no longer I was the girl you knew. From now hereforth, I am Phoenix.
I mean, honestly, I think the woman should have earned a daytime Emmy, but animation at that time frame wasn't even a thing, in the Emmys. But yeah, she should have won an Emmy for Best Actress because she was phenomenal. And I honestly think she doesn't get enough credit because everybody always remembers. Orgasm Jean. Everybody just remembers Orgasm Jean. I'm like, you need to watch the entire third season. The woman proves she's got the voice acting chops necessary to do a serious show like the X-Men.
Last Train, I keep referencing Last Train. I did bring up the fact that the compilations of certain shows that people, there's been a surge in YouTube where people make compilations out of things and taking the context out of certain scenes and putting them together and putting the clickbait title to it. Especially in the case of Jean's orgasm voice, put it all together. That's where it came from. That's where it all comes from. The compilation of Jean making her moaning sounds every time she struggles to use her psychic abilities. It's because of that. Where people, it's a shame, really. It's really a shame.
I know that they have for most of the voice cast for the new X-Men show, which it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that right now. X-Men 97 is a fever dream. They replaced most of the original cast, which kind of drives me nuts that they brought Lenore Zan back because Rogue sounds like an old woman.
She sounds like a hag.
Yeah, it's
I've
bad. I
seen
mean,
Yeah,
3 episodes so far,
idea.
and hearing her talk
Yeah.
just sounds like somebody's bad impression of a hag.
It makes the Magneto and Rogue pairing scenes that much
It
more
makes
creepy.
it makes me scream, hire Jennifer Hale already to play as Rogue. Please. Just make her
I'm
sound like Ash. I'll be cool with that. No, they brought her in for a different character.
who's Jennifer Hale in X-Men?
Oh, Dom knows who she is. She's that one government chick.
Oh, she's Valerie Cooper?
Yes.
Cool. I actually like Valerie Cooper. I'll probably do an episode on Valerie Cooper one of these days.
But she should have been Rogue.
Oh yeah, Jennifer Hale's got she's got a deep enough voice. I mean, you know, if you've ever played Mass Effect, where I think all of us have, her Commander Shepard was fantastic. She just needs to put a Mississippi tilt on it, and she would sound just like Rogue.
Now, just listen to anything from Ash from Overwatch. That's Rogue in a nutshell. You
I have
always
not
gotta
played
look out for
Overwatch.
the 1%. Just watch her. Just watch McCree's trailer. You'll get the idea. You don't need to watch
Okay.
any voice clips of her from the game itself. Just watch McCree's trailer with her, because it introduces her.
All right, I will look that up later on.
As a matter of fact, you can even Dara said you could just listen to Jennifer Hill voice Rogue, because she voiced Rogue a few times in video games.
Oh no way! I
Yep.
did not know that.
At least I think she did.
Well, Jennifer Hale's one of the greatest voice actors for video games out there. Period.
Well, just go to that one YouTube video where they have all of her voice work all in one compilation.
Okay.
Rogue will come up. Rogue will literally come up, I believe so. But yeah, they should have hired her for 97 as Rogue. In fact, she's done 2 people at the same time in one fucking show.
Oh, who
She
else
could've
was
been-
she doing?
Huh?
Who else did she do?
She was Black Knight and General Arrest, but she was also another character. She usually voiced random characters or NPCs at times. You would never notice her half the time. In fact, I think she was Kimiko and Katnape in Shaolin Showdown.
I understand why they picked her and Mark Muir to be the voices of Commander Shepard, because he does a lot of. I don't know if you've ever listened to his voice work, but he voiced like 1/3 of the characters, NPCs, in the Mass Effect games. He was the voice of the Vorcha. Go listen to the Vorcha. Yes, that was Mark Muir. Commander Shepard was also doing the Vorcha.
You ask me more questions. I love the Vorcher. Don't me. You sound like a Vorcher.
Yeah.
Freaking Tally Drunk was the highlight of Mass Effect 3.
Oh, Tally's my girl, man. She's my favorite out of everyone. Garrus is second. And when I played Male Ship, I romanced Tally. When I was Femme Ship, I romanced Garrus.
I think you have feelings for Liara. I'm cutting off this transmission.
I forgot. Do you
drunk and
remember
called
in the game
Javik.
when she drunk called Javik? Yeah, that's great. She was drunk calling everybody on the Normandy.
Oh, neat.
Oh my god. Now I gotta play Mass Effect 3 again, but I gotta get through 1 in Legendary and Mass Effect 2 Classic.
I'll tell you what, man.
So right now I'm addicted to Monster Hunter again because I started fresh again on Monster Hunter.
I've been playing Fallout 4 because of the Fallout TV show.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But we'll have you back on for some Mass Effect talk. I'm pretty sure Dom and Draco Nightmare will be excited for that one.
Oh yeah, let me tell you, Mass Effect got me through many sleepless nights when I had just had Chris, and I'd have to get up for midnight feedings. And I learned how to, this is a little graphic, but I learned how to put a pillow, a boppy underneath, or, on my lap, hold my kid and breastfeed in the middle of the night while playing Mass Effect. That's a skill, guys. That is a skill.
I believe you.
Talk about multitasking. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Well, hey, like the kid's hungry. I don't want to just sit and stare at a wall. Go kill some, Reapers. It was great.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Before you go, there are some loose episodes I wanted to hear your input on real quick, which is the episodes Orphans Inn, Love in Vain, and The Juggernaut Returns.
Okay, if the Juggernaut Returns one that I'm thinking of, that's where the nerdy guy takes the gem Sidorak. Yes, that is one of the best episodes
Return
ever.
of the Juggernaut was season 4. That was the first episode of season. That's the first episode of season 4.
Final. We've been through this. Let it go. Have you watched it yet, though, Final?
No, because that was literally the first episode of season 4.
Well, you gotta hear it anyways.
I won't say much more about it. I'll just say it's one of my favorite episodes. It's up there with Mojo Vision. It's very lighthearted. One more thing. I can't believe I forgot this. Holy shit. Another reason I love season 3, Dazzler finally makes an actual appearance with speaking lines, because in the comics during the Phoenix Saga, that's when Dazzler first showed up, made her first appearance, and she's kidnapped by Donald Pierce and taken to the Hellfire Club, and the X-Men have to help her escape.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I mean, they did that in the cartoon too. I thought it was really weird though that they had Dazzler trying to get in Scott's pants, because that wasn't a thing in the comics, so that was a little jarring for me. That was jarring for me. I was like, "Ooh, what? No, man, she likes guys with 3 fingers." And mullet. And what was the other one? Oh, Orphan's End. I actually, when I first saw it as a kid, I thought it was kind of boring because I didn't understand it. After I got together with my now husband and he let me go through his comic book collection, I got to read the comic book Exterminators, and that's where all those kids are from. They were all taken in by the X Factor, the original X-Men team when they became X Factor, and those kids would have crazy shenanigans, and they were a huge part of the Inferno storyline. So when I rewatched Orphan's End, I loved that episode. I just thought it was really weird that Scott, who is freaking out that Jean is dead and is depressed, not only tries to get in Dazzler's pants, along with Dazzler trying to get in his pants, but also he decides that he wants to get in the pants of his old friend at the orphanage. I was just like, dude, really? Like, for a guy who's so obsessive over Jean Grey and claims he can't get over her, he is so down to bump uglies with any woman that throws herself at him.
For context, this was after Phoenix had taken Jean somewhere, I believe.
To take the MCON crystal somewhere where it could never be. Somewhere far, and they, and
she left it floating in the sun.
She left it somewhere in the sun, somewhere, but they knew she would be gone because they just didn't know what was going to happen to her if she took it away. In order for it to not harm anyone anymore, no one else can get to it.
This episode also features the Purple Man before he became a rapist.
Okay, you can thank Brian Michael Bendis for Zebediah Kilgrave becoming a rapist, because that came from Alias.
Oh,
where I think I've
okay.
I don't know if this is apocryphal. Wait. I don't know if this is apocryphal or not, or if this is actually true. But the reason Jessica Jones was created is because Bendis wanted Jessica Drew, and Marvel said, hell no. That is why Jessica Jones is also best friends with Carol Danvers, and also was kidnapped by someone and sexually abused, and why she's also a detective with the name Jessica. No, I'm not joking. Like Bendis, literally. Oh, you're not going to give me Jessica Drew? Well, then I'll just make Jessica Jones, and she's Jessica Drew.
I'm curious. Will I
Eh.
go to hell if I pull a Deadpool 2 to Bendis as he's writing that bullshit?
You're going to
When
go
he
to
said
hell if you do that. Yeah. I mean, it would probably
worth
be
it,
appreciated by comic book fans.
worth
It,
it.
yeah.
I
This
will
is
say the price to pay will be worth it. You're
this
welcome,
is
Janelle.
word salad, too many speech balloons,
You'll be
Bendis, right?
yeah.
Yes.
You'll be seeing me in a hole
Oh.
with bottomless arms grabbing me in every which way or form with fire beneath me, and you'll see me. Whoa, what? No, I don't understand. You'll thank me later, Jenny. And you'll be looking through the comic book store like, wait, where's Alias? What do you mean Alias? What is this Alias? I never heard of this. Oh, Wolf, you shouldn't have. Thank you
I
though.
actually read Alias, and yeah, it's what you think it is. It's nothing but word salad and self-destruction, and um, Jessica Jones is dating Scott Lang, but also having an affair with Luke Cage on the side and gets knocked up by Luke Cage, and that's why they end up together.
Yep.
You Scott Lang again?
Ant-Man, the second Ant-Man.
Man. Yes.
Oh,
The
fuck. Why
Ant-Man
would they
from the
do that to my
movies.
boy Scott?
And yes, I love Scott Lang. I liked Hank Pym in the movies because it's Michael Douglas and he's not a wife beater and insane. Hank Pym
Thank
is
God.
like, dude, you need to be kicked in the balls in public and put in your place. But I love Scott Lang.
Oh, when they changed his character in the MCU, I was happy for that
And oh
shit.
yeah, Jessica Jones, she was originally part of the Avengers. Her superhero name was Jewel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no,
My
she
thing
was
is,
literally she's just Jessica Drew. She's Spider Woman.
my thing was, I was so mad what they did with Pimp, mostly because when Avengers Heroes Unite was out, I loved Ant Man. Okay, that show got me to like Ant Man, and hearing the history about him and what they did to him, and don't even get me started on what they did with him in Ultimate Universe. I
Oh
get I
God.
get heated because I love Hank Pym. Look, I would be willing to have his only greatest fucker was Ultron. Everything else I can't abide by. I cannot abide by. No, why would you do
Do,
this to my boy Hank?
do you know that when they had him as Yellow Jacket when he hits Janet, that was supposed to be like his wake up call? But editorial was like, no, keep him as a wife beater.
Stan,
We'll have him be
Stan,
the.
Stan
It
Lee.
was, yeah.
We gotta
So
thank Stan
way to
Lee for
go,
that one.
Stan. Instead of having, Hank Pym realize that his Yellow Jacket persona was making him a cruel person. And it was also supposed to be he accidentally hit Jan, and Stanley, I guess, was like, no, keep him as a wife beater.
I
And he
heard
just
that.
became a joke.
I heard that it was meant that when it the way how they wrote it, it was meant for him to, as he's walking away, he smacks her on accident and didn't realize he did that. He was
Yeah,
just walking away in his delusionment, you know.
yeah.
And Janet, that's where we get the line, "Okay, Pim," or "Okay, Hank." She. I don't think he even slapped her in the face. I think he just brushed her to her, you know, which caused her to fall. But isn't but the way how the panelists drew it, it drew him. He just turned around, just straight up, just open hand her, you know. And Stan just said, "No, keep it in. We need the drama." I was like, Stan, of all things, I think we could have pulled back on that one. Come on, man. Why, Stan? Why? If I had to if I had Cable's time travel device, I would time travel to that very moment. Stan, no, 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 Stan, no.
And I find it
Mm-mm.
kind of the biggest oxymoron. Sorry, that that if someone were to ask him if he were to write some DC heroes instead, make Superman a little more vulnerable, and say because I think with anything that he's basically invulnerable makes him a boring character. Hello, you got Gladiator.
Either
He's
way,
basically Superman.
let's get your take on Love in Vain.
Okay, I'm trying to remember what Love in Vain was. Is
That's the
that the one where
Brood
Silver
episode.
Fox shows up?
No, that's the Brood. That's the Brood episode. Rogue meets Cody again.
Oh my God, that's right. Okay, I don't know why I don't remember much of that episode, but I do remember
It was
Cody
a
was
shit
infected by the
episode.
Brood.
Because it was a shit episode.
Okay,
Let's not beat around the bush. It was a shit episode.
then I probably blocked it out. Remember, I
It
didn't
was a
even watch season 5.
it was a very filler episode where I don't think
Yeah.
it needed to be made, and that was a terrible depiction of the Brood. Goodness
Yeah,
gracious,
I agree.
they were more reptile
Who
with
just
cybernetic
ride in a
arms.
literal space whale?
I
Well,
like
that
the
actually
space
is
whale.
the space whale.
I
That's
like-
actually in the comic, the Conti.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, the
actually
Conti.
from the X-Men comics.
I like the space whale.
me
I like
too.
the space whales too.
I just don't like the way how they're designed. I just never did not like the way how they were designed this show. But I know why they designed them that way, because they were trying to avoid the claims of from Alien, because they closely resemble the xenomorph. Yet we had the Ninja Turtle with them pizza aliens not too not too many years ago. So I don't understand what's your problem there. And we had Xenomorph in Animaniacs. Then again, it was the Xenomorph and the Ripley in the Animaniacs. But that's not the point. The point is, we had so many versions of Xenomorph. It's crazy. Even Mighty Max had Xenomorphs.
And the original Aliens sequel, which was the comic book before they did the movies, the xenomorphs had been turned into the red xenomorphs and the green xenomorphs.
Mhm.
You can't find that comic anymore. And if you do, it's been reprinted where they replaced Ripley, Newt, Bishop, and Hicks's names with other people, but it's obviously the same characters.
Yeah.
What's with people in recolors? It's weird.
Oh my goodness! Don't
I
even
think
get
it's
started with
because they were
recolors.
supposed to be genetically engineered. They weren't original xenomorphs. So there was the red team and the green team.
I still remember that one alien comic where it was the Reds versus the Blacks.
Yeah, I remember that
That
one
was
too.
If only they were.
That was
If only they
epic
were
battle.
blue, that would have been funny.
Red versus Blue before Red versus Blue.
Yes.
Oh, one of my favorite alien stories was the one scientist who lived in an alien hive for a time that could not breathe the way it could. It could only breathe a different way.
I didn't read that one. I don't remember that one.
Oh my goodness, it is creepy, especially with the human alien broods that miscarry once they hatch out of the women. Well, not necessarily hatch; they gestate actually.
Well,
like,
wait,
they-
didn't they use that in Alien versus Predator Part 2?
No, it's different in this one. In this one, they basically capture the men and the women. They immediately killed the android party member immediately because she's not human. I think they feasted on the males, and then they mutilated the females to be breeding tools in order to keep their hive alive because they were dying like slowly. Their genetic was
some
rewritten.
sort of spicy romance story somewhere.
Not. So what
Okay.
they did was they fattened up the ladies up, and I guess they impregnated them that way because they had this gel slime shit that they kept force feeding them, and they would once the babies were ready, they would just shoot them all out in fives, and they would die because they haven't perfected the technique. One of those ladies was the dude's mother, and he had to participate in order to keep himself alive in that hive because he was imitating them, and they didn't bother to check if he was one of them.
Oh God.
Said scientist was able to be rescued because I think what had happened was he killed his mother in front of him, and they took him and encased him, and I think a rescue team had finally came and annihilated the hive and rescued him, and he decided to run experiments on humans with xenomorph DNA,
Oh,
mixing
lovely.
human and and xenomorph DNA. It was a wild story. My stomach churns every time I think about that shit. That shit is Alien Theory, the YouTube channel Alien Theory actually covers that story. If you want to check it out, I'll link it
What's
to you,
the?
Janelle.
Yeah, I was gonna say link that to me through Insta because I want to watch that now.
Yeah, Alien
I
Theory
want to be
talks about that
disturbed.
one. Yeah, he covered a lot. Everything he covers everything Alien, even the Alien War. He has a whole video series covering that. But I don't want to keep you too much of your time because
Yeah,
it's
I gotta
12:16.
go.
I just
Um,
want to hear your take on the Love and Vain episode, which was a shit episode, shit filler episode, because it was Rogue acting completely not her fault entirely, but she was acting completely out of character throughout that whole episode, and mostly to do with because they were she was under hypnosis of some kind, mind control of some kind.
well, that episode must have made a great impact on me because I don't remember it.
Yeah, and Cody was
So
annoying.
yeah, Cody was annoying.
He
I kind of laugh every time that I
Yeah.
absorbed my first boyfriend. Like the guy was a dork. It's okay. Don't feel
Yeah.
bad.
words. He was so
Yeah.
indecisive in that episode. Oh my goodness, what have I subjected her to? Oh, bro, don't you see? We can live forever like this. We can touch each other finally. It's like, Jesus
Ew.
Christ, boy, stop being a simp.
That sounds more like obsessive behavior. That's nasty.
Oh my God, the Queen was
Go
acting
back
like
to
Callisto in the
Gambit.
first season. The Queen was acting like Callisto in the first season. This one is different. Like, bro, we can harness your full potential.
And
You
really,
can carry
Gambit
on my
had
legacy.
all the right to be annoyed in that episode.
Who?
Gambit had all the right to be annoyed in that episode.
Even Wolverine.
Yes.
I would say the best thing about that episode was Wolverine because Wolverine was the GOAT throughout that whole episode. First they infected him and his healing factor purged it out.
Vomited
I mean,
out.
it's not the
Yeah, he didn't
because
vomit it.
or no, it didn't
It just-
vomit it because it just healed. 'Cause, I mean, that's a similar thing that happened with the legacy virus, which that healed so quickly, and now it's
Well, the
happened
thing
here.
is, he also helped Rogue with because she got transmogrified and she touched him and his healing factor helped her purge it out. Everybody else, on the other hand, they had to fix that shit.
Yeah.
Kind of a
That's
stupid
true.
way to introduce the Brood. I mean, really, I
Also-
would have rather, do it when they like kidnapped them along with Carol Danvers, and that's how she got her binary powers. It was really cool.
Also, Professor X was the Deus Ex Machina of that episode because they were about to get their shit kicked in until he made the whale react. It's like such a living thing used as a vessel to destroy worlds. Maybe we can help each other in some way, my friend. I swear, Xavier was acting really weird throughout this whole season. He was being a dick every chance he got. Even in the two-parter Sanctuary, he was being a dick towards Magnus.
Well, I think the whole third season. Yeah, remember Dark Xavier shows up at one point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They were showing the darker side of Xavier that
Oh
season.
god, that was hilarious. Oh god, that was
Yeah.
hilarious. His quips was freaking hilarious.
And the funniest part, now that you brought up Sanctuary, and now we're in season 3, Xavier must have like 3 unsuccessful love lives.
Oh god.
And
Yeah,
3
that's
total.
another. Sorry, Janelle, I don't want to keep you up, but I got one question. Who the hell is that red broad that Xavier was pining over in Sanctuary?
Shit,
Oh,
I
Amelia
forgot
Vogt?
Yeah,
Yes.
she has
Yes,
some
Amelia
powers.
Vogt was a nurse. This has been retconned several times, but okay, so this was
Jesus
the
Christ.
90s.
Yeah.
And Xavier I don't remember if it was during one of the wars he was fighting in, or it was after he fought the Shadow King and had his legs crushed. But she was the nurse that took care of him. And she was excited because they were somewhere in the Middle East, and it was like, oh gosh, it's an American. And she helps him get out of his suicidal funk. They kind of help each other. he confesses to her that he's a mutant, and she gets all excited because she's like, I'm a mutant too. And they end up going back home, and he's getting ready to start the X-Men. And Amelia is like, I came back here to America because I thought we were going to get married, because she was his fiance at this point, and start a family. And you are wanting to like make this school instead. And you have no time for me anymore. And he's just like, my project is much more important. And so she leaves.
He's one of those women. Oh no.
And of course, she also met Magnus. I don't know what his name is now. It was Eric Lensher. Now it's Max something.
Yeah. It was Lensher. They said his full name, Eric Lensher, in Sanctuary, when they did a funeral for him when they thought he died in the first part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she ends up like getting in contact down the line with Magneto again. And then I think Magneto dies, and she ends up still becoming an acolyte under the not control but leadership of Fabian Cortez, because she was one of the only acolytes that would call Cortez out on his bullshit and didn't believe everything he said. And the same thing when Exodus took over too. She's just like, no. So
I hate Cortez in those episodes.
Oh yeah, you know what? Fabian Cortez is such a bitch.
His lines are hilarious. Return! I gave you more power so I can take it back, and I take it all. You better serve our purpose as a martyr. Help! Traitors! They killed our leader Magneto.
Oh yeah.
Well, Fabian Cortez gets his in the comics. It's great. When all the acolytes find out he's the one that killed Magneto, when Exodus is like, oh, by the way, and tells everyone, and they just go batshit, and he decides to get revenge by kidnapping Magneto's granddaughter, and that's when you have the Avengers X-Men crossover.
Shit.
Because, it's Quicksilver and Luna's daughter.
I had a quick laugh when Magneto returned to Earth, and he just suddenly revived because of the magnetism. I live. I was like, okay.
It's a shame what they did to Magneto in the new X-Men show that doesn't exist.
Oh God.
You shall not say his name.
I'll share my thoughts once I get through that bullshit. You know what?
They're bringing Gambit back next season as a Horseman of Apocalypse.
True.
One of the worst versions of Gambit ever that made no sense in the comics.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up. But I want to highlight one episode that interests me. Longshot, weirdly enough, had an animation hike. Did anybody notice that when they watched that episode?
Mm-hmm.
I do not remember the Long Shot episode, or most of it. That's the one where he ends up on Earth after being chased out of. He's doing the revolution in Mojo World, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's the one.
That one had an animation hike.
Yeah, because season 3 was in 1994, was it?
Probably.
What do you mean by animation hike? You mean the style had changed?
Not style. The animation was very, very fluid compared to the entire series.
Yeah,
like there was a moment where Longshot does a karate leg sweep, and it was so smooth.
I remember that.
Even the dogs pursuing him was smooth in animation. Like they got a complete animation, and everybody, mind you, slightly looked a bit more upgraded in design.
I asked if it was in 1994 because during that time when X-Men was still going on, they did 3 more Marvel shows that year, which in order are Iron Man, the Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man.
Yeah, they all had animation hikes. Like that was the only episode I saw that had an animation hike. Everything else was business as usual, either stiff, clunky, sometimes miscolors.
Well, I think it's because X-Men was the flagship show out of all the Marvel cartoons.
Still, yeah.
And it was the most popular. I think the second most
Mhm.
popular was obviously Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Guess we know where the budget went.
Mhm.
But
Well,
final
then
thoughts?
remember they squandered all the budget because then X-Men got canceled, and soon after, so did Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Ooh.
They ran out of
Right.
money.
So anybody want to have any final thoughts? Since we reached our hour mark, anyways.
I have some thoughts. It is quite the roller coaster of emotions with the Phoenix Saga and the Dark Phoenix Saga, and now being on this show, great. Thanks to Janelle being here, and yet suddenly trashing on Jean Grey and Scott, I have a love-hate relationship. My love-hate relationship with the X-Men has deepened.
Oh no.
Eh.
Sorry.
Come on now, she's not to blame. We all
I'm not
know
saying
who
she's
put
to
what-
blame. I'm putting the blame on myself because I feel stupid and I hate myself for this.
Don't hate yourself, man.
Don't do that. Don't do that. No.
They
I
have some
mean-
good qualities.
Yeah, Scott Summers is trash. Yeah, we did that whole episode about Scott Summers is trash. Jean Grey is mid. I think they were finally putting her into her own in the mid 90s, and then Grant Morrison came along.
Back in the 90s, I was in a famous TV show. BoJack Horseman, don't act like you don't know. Oh, we gotta talk
And
about BoJack
really,
Horseman
Scott and
today.
Jean have not seen any better days after the Stanley Jack Kirby
There
run.
is no improvement. There is absolutely
No,
no improvement.
no.
Although they do have the best portrayal of them in X-Men Evolution, but
There will
As far
always
as
be my favorite
comics-
portrayals.
as far as comics concerned, yeah, after the Stanley Jack Kirby run, they have not seen better days.
Well, I actually do feel that Louise Simonson was doing a fantastic job with Jean Grey during X Factor when she returned. Because, like I said, you read the comics and you realize, like, she's actually showing more attraction to Warren. She's lost her telepathic powers, and she actually doesn't really want anything to do with Scott. Of course, unfortunately, they decide to put them back together. Just showing how much horrible Scott Summers is. And Claremont did say, like, if you're going to do this, I'm going to make him an asshole. He did a fantastic job because that's what Claremont said he was going to do. But I do think that it stifled Jean's growth. I think Jean and Scott never should have gotten back together. Because putting Scott and Jean together stifles both of them. And you know what? Their epic love story, in my opinion, has run its course. I really had hoped when Marvel was going to bring Jean Grey back again, when they did, I think in 2018, that she would not go back to Scott. But she did.
What I would love to have happened during those times was Scott is a jackass. He's an asshole. What I would have wanted was a redemption arc with him. Like, yes,
Yeah.
nothing cannot undo the shittiest things he's done in the past, being a bad dad. But at this time, there should be a reconstruction with him where he heals all the damage he's done. Like, it's never going to go away, but at least he's trying to be a better person. I want to see him be a better person for once. But
It's
I lost
never
all
gonna
hope.
happen.
Yeah, I lost all hope when people have told me he agrees with Magneto, and that was the best thing they did with him. It's like, oh no, he is dead to me now.
He was raised by Xavier, and yet suddenly the best thing to ever happen to him is just basically being Magneto.
He kills
Eh.
Xavier and even says that if he had the chance, he'd do it again because it was getting in his way when he became a terrorist.
That's where he was.
He took you
getting.
under your wing, and this is how you treat him?
Yep,
Well,
that's
but
what I
at this
said.
point,
Summers
they'd
votes the
also
dog
rewritten.
days of Scott.
They'd also
Woof.
rewritten Xavier at this point to be a complete sociopathic asshole.
Yep. That is
But
also
I
true.
mean, there's the redemption. I'm sorry, Grant Morrison made it where it's impossible to redeem him now. I honestly, what I would have done is I would have had Jean return, and I would have. May sound, totally cliche. I would have had Jean return and Scott be all excited again, and then Jean look and see that he's with Emma, and it's like, no, I don't shit where I eat. And just watch Scott just be so upset because Jean's just like, no, I've moved on.
Completely destroyed.
Yeah, just like, no, you're with Emma. Of
Who's
course,
got-
the reason he's with Emma is because, well, that's so convoluted. Long story short, he chose Emma when Jean died, but then he felt bad about it, and so he left Emma and abandoned the school. Jean changes it where she makes him fall in love with Emma even more, so he'll stay at the school so a bad future won't happen. This is when Grant Morrison
Those
decided
two
to
are
turn
match
great
made
to
in
a god.
hell.
I think, you know what? I really think that putting Scott and Emma together was, well, we've talked about this ad nauseum on the Generation X-Men show. It was the writers that came in were projecting themselves onto these characters, showing that, like, if that's who you're projecting yourself onto, then you're not a good person in real life, because those characters are awful.
I thought the childhood best friend from the orphanage where Scott grew up in was a better match for Scott than the other two.
I wish he had went with her.
Yeah.
Actually.
I mean,
Somebody
for
normal.
some reason, Scott's fetish for telekinetic women.
Oh no, it's just telepaths, because he also had a thing for Psylocke. But then you find out Psylocke was messing with his mind. And it wasn't even really Psylocke, it was the Quanon version of her mind was making her sexually aggressive. But I think that Jim Lee, I think, had planned to break Jean and Scott up so he could put Scott with his waifu, Psylocke. Fans didn't like that, though.
That's dumb. That's really dumb.
That is dumb.
Well, that's why they were on separate teams. I guess they were going to grow apart.
If I were to rewrite it, I would have Scott end up going with some random woman who was not a mutant. And it would have been the funniest thing ever, because she'd be one of the because Scott's a Boy Scout, and the lady would be, I don't know, she'd probably be one of those that would like to break into the school because she wants to see Scott.
Oh, you mean Nurse Bitch?
Well,
sure. From Austin's run, Nurse Bitch.
Sure.
Oh, the one that she, her son, changed the brain chemistry in Havoc to make him fall in love with her.
Yes, Nurse
and
Bitch.
And then he ditches Lorna at the altar, causing her to go insane.
Mm-hmm.
And then turns right the fuck back around later on and comes back and says, I miss you. Let's get back together, after she's in a relationship with Iceman. Yeah, fuck Chuck Austin. Oh my god.
Nah.
He also is the one that turned Gambit into a pedophile, or attempted to. Like, fuck, what's wrong with you, man?
Oh god, fuck.
I am more worried about what is wrong with the writers. Maybe they need therapy, and maybe putting your problems onto paper that's published permanently is not the right idea.
I also think he had a thing for Stacy X, because he plastered that bitch in every damn comic.
Didn't he create Stacy X?
He probably did. I don't know. I don't know. I just remember when I read his run, surprisingly gotten through that bullshit. I saw her multiple times, even making a porno video for fucking Warren one time.
Oh my god, that shit was hysterical, because she wanted to get with Warren, and Warren was too busy nailing,
jailbait.
Yeah, well, she was jailbait. She was 18 or 19 and he was 30.
And they kept talking about that shit a lot.
That was really creepy, because that's not how Warren rolls. He usually has always been with women that are his age or a little bit older.
Who was that one shapeshifter that they used for a bachelor party, and she was shapeshifting into hot women in front of everybody?
I don't remember.
And they were bidding on her ass too. Wolverine
I
was
do
there as
not
well.
remember.
Oh my god, that shit
Was
had
that
me
the
rolling.
Austin run?
It was the All-Star run. It was the
I
one
need to go
where
back and look.
it was the one where Nurse Bitch was confronted Iceman about his homophobia too one during that whole shtick.
That's right. I forgot because North Star kept trying to get him to date him, and he's like, "I'm not gay, bro." I think that was their first attempt to actually turn him gay, and the fans went like, "No," and they had to quickly reconcile. And then they said he was
Shit,
homophobic.
I remember Wolverine said, "Hey, turn into a hot nun for my Christian boy here." He's patting Nightcrawler on the back of it.
That's.
He's like, "Wait a minute, no, don't do that."
I
I was like, that was so out of character of Wolverine to do some shit like that.
Yeah, I think most, actually no, all the X-Men were out of character on Austin's run. It was very
The only
bizarre.
good thing I liked was Juggernaut being on their team and he was reformed and he was taking care of a fish boy.
Yeah, Sammy the Fish Boy.
That's the only thing I liked about that damn run was freaking Juggernaut being a good brother for once.
And yeah, it
And I
was
wish they
really
would.
for
I
the
wish they had
rest.
kept that.
The rest of the run was shit, but for some reason he turned that into gold. And normally I'm not down with the whole like, villains reforming themselves and becoming superheroes or, better people. But I will say when Emma Frost joined the X-Men during Generation X, and that's where she was having her redemption arc as the new headmistress along with Banshee at the Xavier School Massachusetts Academy. I thought that was a good redemption arc for her, and it should have stayed that way. She never should have left being the headmistress of Generation X. Morrison should not have moved her. She should have stayed put. Or actually, I think by that point she had moved to Genosha and was starting to become like militant again. But the same thing with Juggernaut. I thought that was pretty good too.
Any other final thoughts, anybody?
I couldn't get into the X-Men as much as I thought I would.
With that being said, I thank everybody for being here. Jesus Christ, there was 13 of you motherfuckers in here.
Yay!
And right now, the remaining 10 and those nonsense motherfuckers that keep popping in and out. Thank you, Janelle, once again for braving your crises to be here today. I know we delayed this a lot on account of waiting for you to come in because nobody cannot illustrate how good of a character Mojo was better than you.
Actually, I will say there's one other person that can do it better than me, and that's Ishii. Ishii. If you think I am absolutely like batshit insane, adorable, I love Mojo, Ishii even more.
Unfortunately, I cannot bring Ishii onto my streams because he's a busy man. My time frame
He is very busy.
My time frame conflicts with his productivity. So as much as I would love to bring him on here one day just to hang out at least, I don't think he will be able to do it because his workload is kind of heavy right now. Same thing with Kat. I don't want to take anything away from her time. So we just have to go with the next best thing, you. And Rolf will just tell me, fuck off. In the nicest way possible. And I would not have it no other way. I was like, it's Rolf. He did me the pleasure of telling me to fuck off. And I can shake his hand metaphorically for that. I can just hear him now. Fuck no. Go away. That was my tip at a Rolf impression. I hope you guys like it.
Very good.
You ever heard Rolf's voice, Leia? How would you know?
I thought you meant about this. I thought you meant the voice you were doing earlier today when you did Mojo and all these other characters. I thought you meant that. Sorry, I wouldn't. I thought you were talking about that in the beginning.
No, I'm kidding.
I was just saying
But
yes.
anyways, thank you, Janelle, for being here.
Not a problem.
the Lady of Valor, ever so present and so full of life and vigor and whatever makes her tick. Leia plus size.
Very funny. Good evening, everyone. This is Leia Plus Size, your lovely Lady of Valor, and thank everyone for joining us for this very colorful discussion of the X-Men Season 3. If you have any episodes from the season that we did not mention that you want to talk about, please leave it in the comments below. I'm sure Wolf will very much appreciate it. And also share this video with anyone who is an X-Men fan of the TV show. We like to get the word out and have them also bring their comments in and let us know about it and anything that we didn't mention, any characters they want to mention. I'm sure Wolf would appreciate that. Until then, I hope everybody has a very good weekend until we see you next time.
The humblest of writers, Humble Marty.
Hello, I'm Humble Marty. Thank you for being here. You can find my stuff on Amazon. Just search the term Humble Marty. That's how you find everything.
Good sale. She will make pro yet. She's up for a promotion, guys. We have the ever so hot and cold Warrior of Light, Final Fantasy Fan 12.
Well, that about does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, click like, subscribe, and share with your family and friends. And make sure you ring that notification bell. That way you get notified of our latest videos. Go subscribe to 1210 Media if you haven't already. Go subscribe to me if you haven't already. And we are just about in the home stretch of wrapping up this show because we only have 2 more seasons left. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Final Fantasy Fan 12 signing off, and remember, may the light forever shine upon us.
I'm not into guys with vaginas.
Oh!
Seriously, dude.
I couldn't help it.
Always when Final talks, oh my God.
He just
Oh goodness.
look. None but love, Final. I just like to haze you. This to make you stronger. You just need some male masculine hazing every once in a while, you know? Am I right, Janelle? School this boy.
Oh my God.
I can't. He's too nice and he's a gentleman.
Just
I like that Final's nice.
I know he's nice, but I'm just saying he just he just need a little good hazing just to keep him strong. Just to build up his endurance.
Yeah, Final's really quiet right now.
Yes, I think he's reading his book of magic spells.
Maybe reading his book or getting the squirt bottle.
Yeah.
Like
Or the
that
sword.
works.
To hold
Whichever
his
comes
composure.
first. But no, you're a good man, Final. Always keep the
Yes.
light shining. You're a good man. I just like I said, you need a bro haze. That's all.
Oh
Every
my
once in a
goodness.
while. You just need a bro haze. Look, take it from me. I get hazed. I used to get hazed a lot, and I was in your position, taking everything too serious. Now it's just spreading it to you. And Draco and Dom, who's not here unfortunately because he's attending family business, which we'll have that. Hopefully, we'll have that Hound of the South next season. Janelle, you're probably not going to be there for the upcoming season, right?
We will see because summer break is starting for my son, and we also have friends and family are going to be coming in.
Well, the thing is, you said you're an open eye on those because there's a lack of Gambit or no Gambit in those seasons.
Oh yeah, I noped out of those. Yeah, you're right. Like Gambit kind of disappeared, and I was like, "This show sucks now." Bye. I'm biased.
But it had the next best thing, which we will get into when we get there.
Well, okay, I know I watched season 4 because I remember Nightcrawler showing up.
She spoiled the surprise.
Yeah, I like I remember the Nightcrawler episode. I also remember one where Storm has to go to a planet and gets married to some dude. And
yeah,
turns out the guy actually was like enslaving people and using the weather to control his people. And so Storm like F's up his weather machine.
Ready for that.
I remember that episode. And
anyways, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Hopefully, no other bullshit shenanigans stop us from doing that like last week, because we were supposed to do this season last week. But this has been your Commander Wu-Tang. Remind you guys once again that you are the UN Spacey. Welcome to the Wolf Fleet.
Me and my friends get no respect. What does Scooby